And we're back, Galacticos, to continue evaluating the performance so far of our players. We did, goalkeeper and defenders yesterday. We thought that in some of our appreciations you would be very, let's say you would disagree. But, reading the comments after, we're very happy to say that, most of you agree with our perception.
Yeah, I think we are very, very fair with the ratings and with our explanations too. And I think that we have persuaded them if they weren't before. But I think that, they know how we are, how we analyze this team.
Yeah.
And we are not groupies. We are not killing them either. So
yeah, well, I think we're being fair.
Yeah. Today we are going with the midfielders. Very interesting.
If Iñaki can persuade you in English, imagine in Spanish. Imagine in Spanish. But so bring back Iñaki. Iñaki's king. Hashtag. Let's do the midfield again so far. So we're gonna start with Isco. It's fair to say Isco is the player that has played the smallest amount of minutes. Sorry there. So we're gonna start with him.
Yeah, we are giving him a 5. I think that, as you have said, he has seen limited action, only less than 200 minutes combined in 10 games. He has an injury, and I think that Isco is trying to find out who is Isco right now. He has
what Isco is becoming under Zidane.
He has a position change, and he's a number 10, but he's playing instead of Modric or Kroos in that 20 meters behind, and I think that he's still adapting to that position and adapting his game, his nature, what has made Isco a great player into what Zidane wants. So I think in that balance, in that finding what Isco is now and finding what Zidane wants is a little messing him and confusing him, and I think that he's not translating all his potential into the pitch.
So that's why we're giving him a 5. Again, it's fair to say that. From Isco, well, true, the injury didn't really help. Miss a lot of
him.
And the thing with Isco is, again, this is one of the players that when he's in top form, important to say that in every player when we're considering this, we're basically thinking about the player in his top form, which is one of the things we haven't really seen from anybody. But so Isco gets a 5 because of what we expect from him as well, and it's a little bit of this.
But I think that
we want a better Isco.
We haven't had a lot of minutes to judge him, so I think that it's in a standby, his evaluation.
It's true.
I think it's an evaluation in progress, like in a school, and we will see. Right now he's with the national team because Lopetegui, the new manager, if you don't know, trust him so much from his under 21 era.
And a lot of people were kind of surprised to see, Isco is not getting any minutes at Real Madrid, but he's kind of an undoubtedly part of the national team now.
He's not playing tomorrow in Italy. I think at least in the starting 11 for sure. Maybe against Albany. Maybe against Albania sees some action, but we will see. And I think right now he's fit and in good shape. He can have a good month of October. We'll see.
So it's a 5 for Isco, and let's go with Marco Asensio. Marco Asensio is one of the players who kind of erupted into the first team, so we're giving him a 6. Again, he's participated more than Isco, scored a couple goals, but for me and for us, the good thing about Asensio is how he changed his situation in the summer. In the preseason, it was a player like, oh, look at the good material we have, but nobody really thought he was going to stay and be part of the team. And in a few weeks, changed Zidane's mind, and now he's part of the team. He's not one of the starting 11. Well, he has been in some games. He had a great game at Anoeta. He scored that goal that kind of killed the game. And then, as our, let's say, stars started getting better and coming back from injuries, he started seeing naturally less minutes. But
I want to say three facts about him, or 3 things we can talk about. The first of all, he has proven that he's a legitimate player in this roster, maybe a backup obviously, but a legitimate member of this roster. The second one, I'd like to underline his absolute impact in the Super Cup and in the Anoeta game.
Yes.
You can do that if you are a bad player, especially his age. You have to be special to appear in the Real Madrid for the first time.
And I think this doesn't mean that he will be like that always. No, but the fact that he did it.
Yeah, the fact that he did it proves that he has the game.
Yes.
But the third fact comes with the age. You were telling.
Yes.
You can't expect consistency in a 20-year player, especially in an environment like Real Madrid, when he's not going to be a starter every game, like Marcos Llorente is in Alaves, for example, same age, but it's another program.
He knows he's going to play a lot. Yes.
Absolutely.
He's there to evolve.
It's very difficult to ask for consistency to Asensio. with his age and with the limited actions he sees when the squad is complete.
Yes, and to add to your point, like it's a time now that if Sergio Ramos and Cristiano are not being consistent, how can you ask a 20-year-old player to be? But so far, good for Asensio. Again, he gets a 6 because we maybe didn't expect that much from him. He's not being the best player in the team. But, you know, it's all relative, to what we expect from them as well. So that's why he gets a 6.
And we talked preparing this video. If he continues with these performances, I think it could be a tremendous first season for a player in Real Madrid, especially of a player of his age. So I think that he's in a good line, and I trust him. I trust him, and Zidane trusts him. It was his bet.
It's true. It was, and I think in general, Madridistas feel very comfortable with him.
Agree.
Some of them think like, oh, he's not Ballon d'Or, but of course. But, you know, for what he can give...
The only place on earth where Asensio is not very popular is in Colombia, because they see him as a threat to
James.
As a
threat for James Rodriguez.
But, you know, besides that chauvinism, you know, I think everybody is in love with Asensio and what he can offer to this team now and in the near future.
Speaking of James Rodriguez, talk about James Rodriguez. James Rodriguez also gets a 6. And it's important, you know, some of you might think like, oh, like, are they the same? Like, James is better than Asensio. Like, how can you rate them the same? We are not here giving numbers as to like an overall evaluation of this player. But I think, again, from what we expect from James, the thing is, if James repeated this month 10 times, you know, we wouldn't say, oh, this is an amazing season by James. So we're expecting more from him. That's why he gets a 6. It's fair to say that also in favor of James, the way or how quick he has changed the perception of him in this team is what we like about James so far, is the fact that maybe in the summer, you know, a lot of people were saying we should sell him, there were a lot of offers maybe, and in the end he decided to stay, and you know, in a very few weeks, he's now an important part of the team again.
We are moderately excited about his return.
Yes.
His first task for this young season was reestablishing himself as a Real Madrid player.
Yes.
He has done that. It's a big step. I think
it's a big step.
It's difficult for a world star or a near to a world star to redefine his mind and be in that point. I think that he has done that, and it's a big step for James. But right now, James is not a player we are going to evaluate for wanting it. We ask him to change games.
Exactly. No,
and to have a very important and consistent influence on games. Not only a couple of process or...
Of course. And I think what you're saying is, I agree 100%, because we're not going to evaluate James for, you know, trying and having desire. But if he doesn't have that, we can't even...
Absolutely.
So now that he has it, he has got it back, we can hopefully, as Iñaki were saying, we're moderately excited about James. And now that, you know, he's back with the commitment to the team and working hard, I think it's just a matter of time that we see a James that we're going to give 7, 8, or hopefully 9, or maybe 10.
With his quality, with his condition, with his left feet, you have to ask or demand him to be a factor in every game, but to be a factor in all the game. You know, not a player of 3 or 4 tremendous flashes that he can change a game
minutes of
with
nothing,
one flash. But I think that he deserves to himself and to this team to be a constant factor, a man who can deliver a good performance over 90 minutes and can really influence in the pace of the game, in the rhythm, in the style Real Madrid.
Agree. I mean, we're talking about a world star. You know, some years ago people were saying, oh, will James ever be Ballon d'Or? You know, for a player with those expectations, that's what we should be demanding, of course.
Absolutely.
So James gets a 6. Then let's go with Mateo Kovacic. Is one of my favorite players. It's nothing, I don't know, I just like him a lot. So he gets also a 6.
Yeah.
And I think this is more similar to Asensio than to James, getting the 3 of them the same punctuation.
I think that we have groups of midfielders inside our corps of midfielders. I think that Kroos and Modric are very similar, or similar at least. Asensio, Isco, and James are mostly the same profile of player.
Yeah.
Casemiro is one profile, and Asensio and Kovacic is another different profile.
Yeah.
He's one of
Might
a kind.
be maybe in the middle between Casemiro and Kroos or Modric,
True.
a little
For
bit of
me,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
he's one of a kind in this team. He's a player. He's a box-to-box player. He's a player with a lot of dynamism, with a lot of. He's a strong player that he can go all the way, and I think it's
And I think it's
what
fair
he
to
loves
say,
the most.
I have it
Zidane
down
of
here
him.
in the notes. Of the 900 minutes we have played, out of 10 games, 900 minutes, Kovacic has played 450.
I think
So 50% of the minutes Kovacic has been on the pitch.
I think Zidane loves the rhythm he can provide
Yeah.
to this team.
Yes.
Because he can lead the high pressure if you want, and then he's going to be back to recover. One of his main abilities is driving the ball.
Yes.
I think
He's a good dribbler,
He's
fast,
a good dribbler, and I think he can eliminate pressure with his dribble, which is, I think, is the only midfielder who can do it in
It's
open
true.
field. In
Yeah.
open field.
We see a lot of Kovacic kind of receiving the ball, and with the same touch that he controls the ball, he's kind of breaking out of those pressure lines, and that's something interesting. It's true.
Right now for me Kovacic is a player with conditions, but he still has to use better that conditions. I think he.
You mean maybe mentally? He's
Yeah,
like
I think that
being a smarter player.
Absolutely. I
Yes.
think that he needs to understand when to use that ability to drive,
Yes.
for example, and when sometimes slowing down the rhythm in a certain point is good. I think if he can have that pause when
Let's
he's
say
up front,
decision-making ability.
decision making, yeah. I think he would be a more better player, a better player.
For sure. But yeah, he gets a 6. It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And then let's go, with Casemiro. Casemiro is getting a 6.5. With Casemiro, the thing is a little bit weird because, he's missed already the last 4 games.
Yeah.
We know, how, he's a very key piece in Zidane's team. But, he's not getting more or less, 6.5.
I think it's okay because he has only played the half games of
Yes.
this chapter we are analyzing.
And that's the thing, like for example, Kovacic is kind of a surprise that he played half as a more than we expected.
Yeah.
But the fact that Casemiro has played half is a bit not disappointing,
For me, Casemiro is keen. He
Yeah.
proved that he is keen in this team, especially with this 4-3-3 organization.
Yes.
I think you have to have him in the pitch. But what I'm not buying is that theories that are relating our 4 draws with his absence. I think
Yes,
that maybe if we were facing Barcelona, Bayern, City, maybe I could buy it, But
Okay.
the absence of Casemiro cannot be a factor playing with all due respects to Eibar, Villarreal,
that's the thing. A
Las
lot
Palmas.
of you Galacticos have been telling us like, oh, it's because we're Casemiro and Casemiro this. And as Iñaki is saying, if we can't beat Eibar because Casemiro is not on the pitch, then I think the problem is a more structural and deeper problem.
Absolutely. I've never liked to point the guy who is missing because I think it's fast food of answers. It's very simple to always point who is missing. But if it's the Champions League final, we are facing one of the obviously top teams in the world, and we are missing Casemiro that day, and we concede 4 goals, for example. Maybe I could start to buy the theory, but against these rivals, man.
So the thing is, Casemiro. Is injured, and that's a very weird thing. Casemiro is rarely injured. This is probably his first serious injury.
Yeah.
Maybe one game he has to miss for muscular overload or something. But so that kind of leaves it in a limbo. We really don't know when he's coming back, which to me has 2 points. It's worrying because Casemiro is a key part, but it's also for me is interesting to see how Zidane is going to plan the following games without Casemiro.
Yeah, I think that he has not a replacement. For him, Kroos, we've talked several
system
times.
change
It's
more.
an option, absolutely, but it would demand a little variation of the system.
Yes.
Because I think that especially with the status right now of the BBC, we would need another midfielder to organize the team around the ball. Because without Casemiro, it's pretty obvious that you are not that strong in the transitions. You are not that strong. When we are defending, Casemiro is basically a third center back.
Yeah, and it's true that we do get the ball back faster when Casemiro is on the pitch. The BBC, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Galacticos, don't forget, we'll be doing the same analysis for the strikers. Let's go with the last 2, in this order of ascending order. Let's go with Toni Kroos. Toni Kroos gets a 7. Again, I think we haven't seen. Well, maybe in the first 2 or 3 games, I was very happy with Kroos. I was thinking this is a Kroos Imperial. But we haven't seen an amazing Toni Kroos, but I think it's just like his standard, his
Mr.
level of being
Consistency.
regular is
Mr. Consistency.
exactly. It's very
I
good.
think that you pointed the first games of him. He was playing up front with
Yes.
Casemiro behind.
Exactly.
I think that he can fill Casemiro's spot, but it's not the best place for him to be on the pitch.
Yeah.
I think that when he is able to organize the football in opponent field, when he can be almost suited there, trying to combine, to pass to Modric and that kind of game, I think that is the A game of Toni Kroos.
Exactly, that's what we see. And as you say, that's what we saw the first two or three games when he doesn't have to worry that much about recovering his position if we lose the ball.
That's the point. When you ask Toni Kroos to do during a whole game a 60-70 meters
range,
it's going to penalize Kroos. It's going to definitely penalize Kroos. I've read earlier today a news that said that he lose the most balls against Eibar. I think that he has been playing the most of them, the 700 minutes. He's the most used midfielder by
760 minutes so far.
I think that fact it's very early in the season to
kind of overload Toni Kroos with minutes. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I think that combined with the fact that he has to cover a deeper range of the field is penalizing Toni Kroos in these recent games.
And even with that, with all this, he's still playing very consistently and very, of course, acceptable. So he gets a 7. And then we get to the last of the players. The player who won our MVP of the month so far, or the season so far, Luka Modric, is also out. And it'll be interesting to see next month when we do the same. We're not going to be counting on Luka Modric because Luka Modric is going to be out for a month. And he gets an 8. I'm gonna, just let it fall there that he's the highest ranked player of our team so far in all the lines.
He was the MVP.
Yeah, he was the MVP of the month. And I don't know, I don't think there's much we can say about Modric. Of course, it's a pity that he's injured.
Zidane, I think that Zidane was cautious with his physical status.
Yeah.
I think they have obviously info that they didn't share with us. He saved him.
You imagine if they shared all the info with us?
But I think even being that cautious, they haven't avoided the surgery. So I think it's correct having surgery right now if he demands it. So it's not a point. But I think that the 8 is because when he has been on the pitch, he has delivered all Real's football. Yes. He has controlled the pace. He's the player to build around the offensive system of this team. He plays with a lot of personality. He plays in the opponent field.
To me, he's like the perfect player to have. The BBC up top. Again, we'll talk about the BBC tomorrow. We'll talk about them tomorrow. But when the BBC is in tip-top shape, he's the perfect player to be that number 10 that is not that much of a number 10. No. But also, he can play in front of Casemiro and Kroos.
What I love from Modric is that he knows to control the tempo. Yes. He knows when you have to accelerate, when you have to slow down. I think that he controls that perfectly. The example is in Dortmund. If he sees the option to drive a counter-strike, he's going to do it. But if the game demands more control, he's going to do it. I think he has reached a level of maturity that, for me, I've said in previous videos, for me is the best offensive midfielder in the world. And
one thing I love about Modric is, of course, most good players have this, but that decision-making ability, and once you have made the decision, the precision, the accuracy, the perfect touches for passes, with the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot, he's talented, man.
Absolutely. He's A in talent, but A++ in that decision-making maturity. Because a lot of players at that level can make simple passes like Modric does sometimes.
Okay.
But doing that with the game speed, with 70 minutes on your feet, when that's the difference between Xavi, Pirlo, Iniesta, Modric, this kind of offensive midfielder that control over
exactly
everything.
Control, exactly. Not only when you're attacking, but also. So Modric is the highest ranked player. I'm taking the telephone out. Nobody's calling me. Don't worry. I'm not gonna check my WhatsApp.
Same joke as yesterday, man.
So Iñaki's feeling comfortable and he's now making jokes, making puns in English, but I can't see the notification. No notification, Galacticos. So let's look on YouTube. Maybe from production they can start shouting out some of the comments.
Let's start with Trigger Happy, of course.
Trigger Happy.
So
number 1 fan in
says
the world.
Modric 9 out of 10. My love for Modric's game goes many bounds. He's always been awesome.
We love him, absolutely, but I think that giving him a 9 right now would be too much. We expect, I think right now it is early October, and I think that the 9 of Modric, we will see it, but we will see it a little further in the season.
Hopefully a 10. Says Luka is the most... Rafael Varane. Rafael Varane is commenting. Rafael Varane, welcome. We analyzed your game yesterday. We're sorry, but you're a bit late. But it says, Luka Modric is the most influential player in the team.
Agree.
I think we agree. Says, hello, Afro Jack, our friend Afro Jack, another very active Galacticos, says,
Hola.
Modric is better than every other midfielder in the world.
Offensive midfielder, I agree.
Says, in Spanish, please, says Cesar Trujillo. Don't worry, man. We'll be in Spanish in 5 or 10 minutes. Most people are commenting that Luka Modric should get an 8.59. Karim Karas, our friend Karim Karas, thank you for being there.
Karim, we met Karim.
We met Karim in Manchester. I met him outside the Etihad Stadium. We had a lovely time there. I hope you remember, because I do. And says, Kroos is underrated. That's interesting. I don't have that feeling that he's underrated.
I think that maybe his game doesn't sign to a regular viewer. I'm not calling regular, but you have to be patient looking at Kroos and all the good things he does to the team. If he means that he's underrated because of that, I would agree, because it's that kind of player that what he does looks very similar, but he always does okay. And I think maybe he's not the most brilliant player, or he's not firework.
Exactly, he's not fireworks. He's not making dribbles and nutmegs. But they have a player like that plays like that and does what he has to do every game.
That's the kind of player that
find me another Kroos.
That helps Real Madrid and that helps Germany to have a determined style, and that's awesome. That talks about the influence as a midfielder like Kroos, like Modric can have in a team. So I think that maybe it's underrated, but I think because of that, because we all the first look at the goals, the dribbling, you have
fireworks. I love that.
Fireworks.
Perfect. 2 points for Iñaki for using that word. Can't believe you gave Casilla, that was about yesterday, our shittiest player a 7. We disagree, but that's on yesterday's video. But I don't think Casilla is terrible or bad. Let's see. It says the BBC says Emad Jassem. Thank you very much, man. Says
thanks.
The BBC looks so lost without Modric. That's an interesting comment.
Yeah, but they look lost with Modric in the pitch this year.
Yeah, well, this year. Yeah, it's true. Says
I agree.
This is Isco's time to show what he can do for the team. Absolutely agree. Says Mahmoud Ali. Mahmoud Ali is one of, let's say, the biggest supporters of Iñaki in English videos. He was the one who created the hashtag Bring Iñaki Back.
I appreciate.
So it says Iñaki's back again. Modric is definitely our best midfielder right now, and we will suffer greatly in his absence. I agree with the part that he's the best. Hopefully, I will have to disagree with the fact that hopefully we won't suffer in his absence.
Yeah, I think that this absence weighs more than Casemiro's, but right now, a couple of years ago when Modric got injured, it was devastating for Ancelotti's team.
Yes.
In 2015. So I hope that in April, in spring, we have our squad 100%. That's my. We have the injuries now. We have to go through these injuries.
But we can also get 100% out of the team that is now without Modric and Casemiro.
It's a perfect moment for these players to step up.
Man, if we get 100% from Kroos and Isco and James, it should be great.
It's a bad news that we have injuries.
Of course.
But it's always open the window for other players to step up, to have more action that they would not have.
Cheta Enwegbara says, what do you think of Ronaldo's assist for Bale on the weekend? And I wanted to comment something because we've seen Ronaldo in Dortmund also, the cross that ended up in Varane's goal. Yeah. The cross was amazing. And in this game, he had two very similar crosses for Bale with his left foot. When, again, we have been saying this, we don't really see Ronaldo anymore, like taking on defenders, dribbling past defenders. And in those two situations, he did very well. And a beautiful cross with his left foot. The first one was a goal. The second one was a header by Bale that went to the stands. But I think it was a great play. And I would love to see Ronaldo kind of doing this more, using Bale, that is a power in the air. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
Says Agustín Silvera, ¿de qué están hablando? Estamos hablando de lo mismo que vamos a hablar en 5 minutos in Spanish, so don't miss it. Hugs for, of course, for Trigger Happy. 262 plus, but you're Trigger Happy. For Mahmoud Ali, for Emad Jassem, for Elian Saco, for Franco Bolsán, for Agustín Silvera, for Afro Jack, Cheta Enwegbara, and for Real Galacticos.
You are the
there's
best subscriber in the world.
the best subscribers in the world.
For the best club in the world.
There's a guy called Real Galacticos commenting, and of course, last but not least, our friend Stefan Schwarzmeier. Galacticos, thank you very much for being there. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Bye.